The other side of boxing. Remembering Lito Sisnorio Jr. Boxing is a national obsession in the Philippines. Next to basketball, it's undoubtedly the country's most popular sport. Our most celebrated sportsman is so famous he was elected to the Senate and may possibly even make a run for the presidency. Of the 14 medals the country has won at the Olympics over the years, 8 were for boxing, including 3 of the 4 medals our athletes brought home from the recent Tokyo 2020 Games. There are boxing venues scattered all over the archipelago, from makeshift rings in tiny barangays to the biggest arenas that can accommodate tens of thousands of spectators. Thanks to high-profile fighters and the glory and glamour attached to becoming a champion, many aspiring athletes have come to see boxing as a ticket to riches and success. However, many of them either fail to see or choose to ignore the dark side of the sport. From 1890 to 2011, as many as 1,604 boxers have died as a direct result of injuries sustained during bouts, according to a CNN story from 2019, which quoted data compiled by the Manuel Velazquez Boxing Fatality Collection. That's around 13 deaths per year. One of those boxers is Filipino Angelito, Lito, Sisnorio Jr., who died on March 31, 2007.
Before we proceed, please subscribe and don't forget to click the notification bell down below and leave your comments and suggestions.
Here's the Sisnorio story. Angelito Sisnorio Jr. was born on October 10, 1982 in Coronadal, South Cotabato. He was the 8th in a brood of 9. His parents worked in a coffee and banana farm, and money was almost always never enough. Sisnorio himself got into farming when he was younger, eventually earning enough to send himself to school to study criminology at a local college. It was fighters like Jerry Penalosa and Manny Pacquiao that inspired the young Sisnorio to put on the gloves and give boxing a go. At age 21, he turned pro and started winning his bouts. At one point, he became the WBC Youth Flyweight Champion, after beating a Thai fighter. 3 days before Christmas in 2006, Sisnorio bid farewell to his family in South Cotabato as he was off to fight another opponent in Thailand. He was 24-year-old then. He did not mention who he was fighting, when exactly he was flying out, and when he was coming back. Nobody knew it back then, but that was the last his family would see him smiling, hopeful, and alive. 3 months later, Sisnorio was in Bangkok to face off against Chachai Sasakal. The match ended with the Thai fighter knocking out Sisnorio in the 4th round. The Filipino boxer seemed fine after the game. He was on his way to grab some dinner later that night when he complained of dizziness and nausea. When he started vomiting, his companions rushed him to the Piaman hospital, where doctors performed emergency surgery to remove a blood clot from his brain. They were unsuccessful. Sisnorio died at 9:15 p.m. The boxer was laid to rest in his hometown of Coronadal on April 21, 2007 with hundreds of his kababayans in attendance to pay their respects. Out of all my children, Lito was the one who had hope and the determination to succeed. Sisnorio Sr. said in an interview through an interpreter. He was the one who had dreams. He wanted a better life for his family.